In a small village, nestled between rolling hills and dense forests, lived a young blacksmith named Aiden. Aiden was known for his dedication to his craft, tirelessly working in his forge to create tools and weapons for the villager. His mentor, an old blacksmith named Thorn, had taught him everything he knew before passing away, leaving Aiden the forge and the responsibility to keep the village supplied. Aiden's journey was far from easy. The forge demanded constant attention, and the weight of his responsibilities often felt overwhelming. He would wake up before dawn, stoking the fire, and work late into the night, hammering away at the anvil. Despite his efforts, there were times when he felt his work was not good enough. Tools would break, weapons would fail, and doubts would creep into his mind like a persistent shadow. One particularly difficult day, after a series of failed attempts to craft a sword, Aiden sat outside the forge, his hands stained with soot and his heart heavy with frustration. He stared at the dull blade in his hands, feeling defeated. The sword was supposed to be a masterpiece, a symbol of his progress, but it lay there, lifeless and ineffective. As he sat in silence, an elderly woman approached him. She was known in the village for her wisdom and stories. Her name was Alara, and her presence was calming, like a gentle breeze on a hot summer day. "Aiden," Alara said softly, "why do you look so troubled?" Aiden sighed, showing her the dull blade. "I can't seem to get it right. No matter how much I try, it never turns out the way I want. Feel like I'm failing." Alara took the blade from his hands and examined it carefully. "Do you know the story of the master blade?" she asked, her eyes twinkling with a hint of mischief. Aiden shook his head. "No, I don't." Alara smiled and began her tale. Many years ago, in a land far from here, there was a legendary blacksmith named Keel. He was renowned for creating the sharpest, strongest blades in the world. People traveled from distant lands to acquire his weapons, believing them to be imbued with magical properties. Kale, however, had a secret. His blades were not forged with magic, but with relentless dedication and unwavering effort. Every day, Kale would spend hours sharpening his blades, perfecting their edges with meticulous care. It was said that his blades could cut through anything, not because they were enchanted, but because they were the result of countless hours of hard work. Alara paused, letting her words sink in. Self-improvement is like sharpening a blade. It takes consistent effort, but each stroke makes you stronger. When things get tough, remember, a dull blade never made a mark. Keep sharpening, keep improving. The edge you create will cut through any challenge. Aiden listened intently, feeling a spark of hope reignite within him. Alara handed the blade back to him. "Your efforts are not in vain, young blacksmith. Every failure is a step towards mastery. Keep at it, and one day, you will create a blade that will be remembered for generations." Inspired by Alara's story, Aiden returned to his forge with renewed determination. He examined the dull blade, seeing it not as a failure, but as an opportunity to learn and grow. He began the process of sharpening it, each stroke of the whetstone echoing in the quiet of the night. The rhythm of his work became a meditation, dance of persistence and patience. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Aiden's skill grew with every blade he forged, every tool he crafted. The villagers noticed the change, marveling at the quality of his work. His reputation spread, and soon people from neighboring villages came seeking his creations. One day, as Aiden was working on a particularly challenging piece, he felt a presence behind him. He turned to see Alara, her eyes filled with pride. "You have done well, Aiden," she said, her voice warm. "Your blades are now sought after by many, and your name is spoken with respect. Remember, the journey of self-improvement never truly ends. There will always be new challenges, new mountains to climb, but with each stroke you grow stronger and your edge becomes sharper." Aiden smiled, feeling the weight of her word. "Thank you, Alara. I will never forget your wisdom." And so, Aiden continued his journey, his heart filled with the knowledge that every effort, every failure was a step towards mastery. He embraced the challenges, knowing that with each stroke of the whetstone, he was not just sharpening a blade, forging a legacy that would endure through the ages.